So I want you to get this, okay? This is the conviction I think we all need. Our objects objectify that which God made.
The gospel says, flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside the body, but whoever sins sexually sins against their own body. And my concern is that throughout the years in men's groups, and look at the stats, it speaks about over 50% of men in the church are into pornography. The numbers for pastors, even worse. And for women, it's rapidly climbing. How do we approach it? I have personally brought up situations in groups and stuff, trying to bring this out, and it's men don't want to speak about it. Generally, men don't want to speak about it. I've seen divorces and from the pastors on down to the sheep. Mm-hmm. How do we approach it and get it out there about getting men to open up about this? It's really assaulting the church.
Your question is an incredibly important one. The amount of work done on this topic from a Christian perspective, in fact, that number, 50%, is grossly understated. It's more like 70. And this is pastors, let alone people in the pews. So I'm speaking in a room this size. Notice how silent it is? You know, we have these little machines. We call these phones. I don't know why we call them phones anymore. No one makes calls on these things. Did you know that this machine has more computing power? This one, not all of ours collectively, this one, has more computing power in it than all the computers that sent the first rocket to the moon combined. And what do we do with this? I can talk to anybody in the world right now. So many apps can connect me, video, to people all over the world. I can look up any information I want. I can study my Bible more efficiently. I can do my work remotely. I can catch up with friends I haven't seen in years. What is the primary thing we do? We look at things we ought not to look at. And here's the funny thing, this is the irony. So we call these things names now. Say Siri or Alexa or whatever we want to call them. And we use it to make women, or even men, into objects for our immediate gratification. We make them into objects. So I want you to get this, okay? This is the conviction I think we all need. We personalize objects by calling it a name that we use to depersonalize humans. Our objects objectify that which God made. Now, I'm not saying that struggle isn't real. I get it. I get it. I would highly recommend a book called The Death of Porn by Ray Ortlund. Ray is a capital human being. He really is. And there's some convicting things to say. Pornography is not a victimless thing. That woman looks like she's there voluntarily. A lot of them are not. And even those who are, ask them about their past, about the abuse they've had in their past. So when we look at that stuff, we're supporting and suborning what she's gone through. God made her in his image. Male and female, he created them in his image, and he made you in his image. And what Ray says in The Death of Porn is that we can have victory. And honestly, it's like the Braveheart of books about porn. It's like you want to get, it's the Braveheart speech, you know, the freedom speech. That's what this book is. Highly recommend it. Please get it. If you get no other books other than mine. No, I'm kidding. No, seriously. Get this book. Get this book. It promises liberation, but it also requires us to recognize the ugliness of it, but it also requires us to be in Christian community with trusted male friends. If you confess your sins, he is faithful and just. Confess your sins that you may be healed, not just forgiven, but healed. You either believe that or you don't. And I realize that's hard because there's plenty of things that I need to confess and I wrestle with, and everyone does. But get some people in your life who you can be transparent with. And I want to say this last thing. Accountability is a great word, okay? But if accountability is the only thing you do, all you've done is create a group you can lie to. Transparency is different, and Ray will talk about this as well. Transparency is the ability to share your phone, get an app, get something that takes your computers, whatever it might be, and shares that with another person through a covenant, like Covenant Eyes or Custodio or something that will help you to share what this is all about. In other words, transparency says I'm living authentically and at least one other person knows it and can call me on it at any time. Here's why transparency is important. If accountability is you looking over your shoulder just to see if someone caught you, then you have to confess when someone caught you. Transparency gets accountability thrown in because they already know what you're doing. So be transparent with another person. How hard is that? It's incredibly hard. How necessary? It's never been more necessary. I want to encourage the transparency, friends, because you need each other. We need transparency. Don't hide behind it. Please be liberated from this. There's so many other addictions and issues in our lives too. We don't need this one. This is one more, and it changes the brain so many ways. The studies on this are so important. I couldn't talk about this such an important topic. It's the primary way in which Satan actually keeps you from being the man of God you're supposed to be. The primary way. The primary way. This is the primary fight of our lives. It dehumanizes women, and it dehumanizes you. And God made you in his image, and he wants nothing less for you. Thank you so much for your question.